This program is brought to you as a public service by Maui Causes. Maui Causes is a crowd-funded media production group that provides media production services to a variety of environmental and progressive causes here in Maui County. Visit us on the web at www.mauicauses.org. Welcome to another edition of the Maui Causes Citizens Initiative television show here on Akaku. Eternal thanks to Akaku for existing in this politically difficult climate. Politically difficult because the powers that be don't like anybody that speaks out against them. And they don't like this show, I promise you. We're here to change things. We're here to stir things up, and we're very, very thrilled that at this election cycle we have some candidates that are new to the process and have not established relationships with the major power brokers here in Maui County or in Hawaii. They are not beholden to corporations that are looking to exploit these islands, and so we have a chance. We've got a shot at taking the island back from political and economic forces that are doing you no good. They are explicitly interested in generating profits for off-island interests, and they don't live here. They don't give a damn about the quality of life here. We do. We know you care too, and we hope that you will come out and vote in the primary process that is coming up August 14th. And please know that you need to register to vote by July 14th to be able to participate in the primary. It's easy to do. Do it. It's your kuleana. It's your responsibility. You live here. You can make a difference. So in the next couple of sessions, we're going to be having interviews, just some simple talk story with some of the candidates that have been nice enough to drop by our studios. With us in this session is candidate Jerry Metcalfe, who is running in South Maui. Jerry, thank you for coming.
You bet. It's a pleasure, Sam.
Good. And why are you running for county council?
Main reason I want to make a difference. I want to be your choice for a new voice. The old regime, the old couch there, and some of the voting that he's taken on the bills that are being passed, I don't think are strong enough in regards to protecting the constituents of our location and our new Riviera of Maui, the beautiful Mahalea to Kihei to Makena to Wailea, and the beautifulness that we all enrich there. I also want to tell you that I'm running mainly to bring out a lot of issues in which seem to get hidden, and I liked your introduction and what you said. I plan on being a tiger on these issues if voted in and during the campaign. So you might see something uncoordinated, unlocked in, made up. I don't really practice too much like that. I'm not a politician. I'm a private sector businessman. I have 9 startups right now. And I have Metcalfe Enterprises, which owns those subsidiaries. And I'm moving all operations from Milwaukee and Wisconsin out to the island after the estate, the trust was settled of my late great father, Jerome E. Metcalfe. But the main difference I hope to bring is a reflection upon what's not being done in Kihei to prepare us for the growth, population, business that's coming. We can't deny it. The growth is coming up. We just hit 164,000, 85,000 that can vote. The rest are kids. I care a lot about the Kiki, and I hope that we can bring a new horizon to openness in accountability, transparency, and in the community. As I'm going to wait for some more questions for you, but I want to bring an office. If I'm elected to Kihei, it'll come out of my salary. I also want to challenge everybody out there straight up right now to get in shape. If you're going to run with the big dogs or a tiger, I want you to be in shape. I've committed to a couple other debates, et cetera, that are coming up, but my main flow is to give a break, to give me a trial basis. I used to sell securities, and I used to have the ale house here with my brothers, et cetera, and I want you to understand that it's taken a lot from me to go from private sector to public sector. My heart's in the right spot. I've talked to you a little bit about this, but the main thing is to get into these issues and solve them with solutions. And that's something that I don't see it coming from the county council. I'm kind of embarrassed of some of the votes that went on, but we'll discuss that further, I hope, in questions. But the main thing is the environment. and our dear, loved Kiki that we have here, and to provide a better format for them to graduate and be long-term educated for the industry and business reflection that I plan on bringing to this island. We're going to have a dual economy here. We're no longer going to be tourists. We're going to have tourists as our #1 industry, and we're going to have agriculture into a macro, micro operation that the county can make money on and that we can make money on for our individual farmers and new farmers from the University of Wisconsin, where I'm from, and also University of Hawaii here with their great, great professors and their sustainability program. That's what I want to bring.
Well, cool. That's a lot of stuff. Let's drill into some of that. South Maui, where you're representing, although of course all county council candidates are voted on by the entire county, something that we'd hope someday to change so that each district has their own voting practices and has their own discrete representative, but we don't have that right now. You are running in South Maui. You live in South Maui. Yeah. Are there particular concerns? You mentioned the water quality at the Cove. What are your concerns there, and what would you change?
Right. I think this comes down to, with the growing population, our infrastructure is no longer there. I come from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm going to talk a little bit about poop or our feces or sludge. We don't want to have a balloon filled full of air and pop a hole in it, because that would be pollution, or stuff inside your poop would be flying out.
That's describing the injection wells.
I call it an injection well.
Well, they are injection wells,
right.
And that's what's going on the west side, and that's what's polluting the water over in
It's completely insanity to physics. It doesn't make any sense to do so. When we can put together at this time, because every day we wait a week will cost us $500,000 if we start this project within the next 7 years. So
and that's because the county is currently being sued by the federal government and the Environmental Protection Agency, the county which in its own folly tried to fight litigation from the EPA. And of course, as typical, when they choose to fight against something that they are wrong, they lost. They lost, and it cost the county money not only to fight, to pay the lawyers. I think it's just job security for the corporate counsel here in the county. It's one of my pet peeves.
I like that about you too. Well, you're on the right issues.
I think so. You know, it's pretty evident, I think, to the public if you look at things. This county litigates way too many things, especially when they are decisions made by department directors that are put into place by the mayor in his infinite stupidity. Hires his friends to have jobs that are of supreme importance in this county. And our county council failed us yet again in their unwillingness to allow you to decide the form of government. It is absolutely appalling, the decision that they just made to withhold that from the public in November. What do you think about that?
It's atrocious that anybody would consistently let our pollution and sewage be leached into our oceans and don't want to tell us about it. It kind of comes to some things about the possibility of like the Monsanto fiasco or the GMO fiasco, with them being allowed to add pollution contagions into the soil, into the product, into the dust, into the burning of the sugarcane factories products and sugarcane. And of course it comes down on my district, Windward.
It all blows into Kihei.
Right, and if I want anything like that, I'd like to be able to sign something that I'm aware of it, okay? I find it hard not to enforce the current laws that are out there dealing with this health concern or poisoning concern. So I'm gonna so I stand hard on that. Okay.
Well, what would you do? What would you change?
Well,
current county practices with the injection wells. Do you have a solution for that you would bring to the council?
Yeah. For the first thing here, we can't afford to keep doing it. So let's just face the fact of stopping. I promise you, if I'm elected in this thing, we are going to get rid of the injection well system. Well, now, we might have to go on the old system for a while and tap this out and store it.
They've finally acknowledged that that's happening. I mean, the last monies that got approved by the county council were to pay a lawyer so that they could acquiesce and solve the situation. So money finally is being spent in a positive progress. I don't think they have much of a chance of figuring it out with the existing brain trust, because They just don't seem to have the political will.
Sam, and I'm sorry, you understand, can you imagine this going on and the county keeps on going with it? How it would look in a case when you're doing a plea bargain. Me as a paralegal, I know how to finagle through the system and make promises of changing behavior. And that comes down to real simple, of taking this thing and going, hey, I'm going to shut this down. Can we mitigate these fines because the people have to pay them, not the cronies that are in office at this time? And we need to look at this as going, geez, Metcalfe out there, if he's preaching this stuff that if we store this stuff and turn this feces and sewage sludge into pellets, into Milorganite, the greatest no residue fertilizer there is, you can actually, believe it or not, you can actually chew on it, okay? So I don't want to gross people out, but the fact of the matter is we take our water in Milwaukee, and we had been processing it under underground caves we drilled in. Our beautiful glass mountains that we live on here can be drilled into and stored airtight. And as we get our rainwater, our sewage water mixed together, our sludge, and we break it down, if it floods a little bit, we keep it inside these caverns, and we pump it out and process it as we have dry periods and stuff like that, and we make a product out of it. I want to bring a revenue stream to this county. I want to bring a revenue stream to the great scientists that we are developing over at the university to put this as a project precursor. We can spread this around all the islands and take care of this injection well or this flooding of our oceans with literal piss and poop. I just think it's ridiculous.
What we have now, I don't know what the solution is myself. It's an interesting thing to drill into porous lava rock. So you got to, I certainly would want to know more about that.
Right. It's worth looking at.
We've got lava tubes that run all over the place, moving water around. It's one of the reasons why McKenna Landing should not be built, is because there are lava tubes that connect that region to other region, and there is fresh water that travels through those lava tubes and should remain undisturbed.
Sam,
that's a whole separate topic.
We found some cracks and stuff that were we're based on really hard limestone under Lake Michigan where we started. We noticed that the leaking part of it, in those little sectors or townships and stuff that we have near the coast of Lake Michigan, okay, where we built above ground, right, eliminating even in the ground. So we have an up-ground storage of it, and it can be done efficiently, effectively, if we have to make pools, etc., and line them with. So this can all be done because we don't want that stuff to sit in that pool. We plan on pumping out and processing it properly. We don't want a drop of that stuff, of anything, to go into our oceans and water or into our water table. Can you imagine this? Okay, so I have a strong feeling at this. I've seen it done professionally.
If you go to, over towards Kaanapali and over where the people from Lanai come in, and they don't have cars, they're taking the ferry over. The people from Lanai think Maui stinks. That's their experience. They come from beautiful Lanai, they take the ferry over here, they go and they rent a car.
Yeah.
And the car rental place over there is smack in the middle of a cesspool, a public cesspool, because of the injection wells. So everybody coming from Lanai to Maui, that's their first experience of Maui, is a cesspool. Thanks to our existing county council and county government mayor. They created that system, they defended that system, and they should be taken to task for it. What else would you change, Cherry? What else was going on here that's not working?
Regarding the budget here, on the sewage thing, in Kihei, we have our pump system that overflowed with the amount of product that they're supposed to pump. Why not start the process, since we're going to be ready for a new sewage system process? We can build these new pumps that have dual pumpers on them, so we can pump more stuff and bring the pressure down less if we ever get a leak. Because we have about a 15-minute response time, it usually flows up in the hole where we can get rid of that right away. So we have different techniques on this. The other thing I want to tell everybody, I've been out walking the streets, if you've seen me in Kihei, knocking on doors. I model myself after one of our great state house representatives, Kanala Ing, the way he's run his operation. I kind of listen to him and understand what he's doing. Now, I want to deal one thing with this water thing. I think the greatest person on this planet right now for hydrology and where it's all going and how to affect this quick change is Robin Knox. I ran against her 2 years ago. I've been lucky enough to take her out to eat and stuff like that. I want you to understand that this gal is an expert at what's going on, and we need to go after. I would definitely bring her into the loop somehow with what's going on, at least for a consulting paper to give us a consulting of what's being consulted on, because everything is being consulted about the other side or the same old guys. It's not changing.
There's a lot of available talent here on Maui that is untapped.
And I do agree that we do need to end nepotism. I mean, it must be fun to get an $80,000 to $109,000 job that the mayor hands out here. for expertise. I bring executive leadership, and no one's ran up to my door and knocked on my door. Okay, no one tried to save the ale house when we were losing $40,000 a month. Okay, and then we want to give all this stuff to the.
That was your family business, was the ale house?
Yeah, ale house, and we went through the 2 depressions on the island here. But the Rust Harpoon, if everybody remembers, my father ran before he got cancer and brain cancer and died. It was just amazing of. What we see going on by the same old. And I've been here for 9 years now, and I've been coming here for about 20 years. So, I've seen Maui go from, I consider it a good, it's nice, it's beautiful. I see good improvements and stuff, but I also see some things that are same old. And for people have been talking, if we go back to Akaku and get 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago about the sewage, you'd see it.
The same issues. Yeah. Our county council, our county government is basically paralyzed. They don't have the political will to go up against the corporate interests, and so nothing happens, nothing changes.
Yeah.
It would just perpetuate the status quo, and that's really what has to change.
Sam, with this describing this with nepotism, I love my brothers and stuff like that, but when I came in here from the Metcalfe Trust and we were losing all this money at the Kailua Ale House, I went into emergency mode. This has a reflection to all you that are watching this right now with him. I bring executive leadership. Everything we need to do for our budget right now, because we're trying to spend too much, is we need to either create a debt system bond to get some things done now, and what that means is that I maybe refinance some stuff at the ale house. The whole thing with Mr. Brad Sundin there, I brought this operation losing $40,000 a month because our P&L statement was so crooked that was being run at the time before I got here, and I flipped over everything and put together a modern, accurate P&L statement. And Brad Sundin, when he looked at this, he goes, "This place makes a hell of a lot of money." Well, yes, because I brought our cost of beer down from 62 cents down to 18 cents a pour. Okay, the profit's mine. I deserve that. But it's hard not to make it when you get to it. I dictated to them in my negotiating and how I'm going to straighten out the budget at the Kailua Ale House. We did it. When I left there, we were producing $34,000 of profit a month to Mr. Sundin. So negative 40, it seems like it's $78,000 difference that I recouped in less than a year. You voted me number one for the operations I run because I cater to the locals here. You are my bread and butter. You make me recession proof. I took that operation for you because you voted me. I've been in a bunch of elections. Maui Times, Maui News, 3 years in a row consecutively voted #1 sports bar and place to watch football game and great restaurant food.
That was the ale house while you had the ownership. You no longer are involved in the ale house.
I did retire and we did sell it. I sold it only because A&B, our cronies up there, they don't like the Metcalfes making all this money, but they didn't mind us losing a lot of money. Can you imagine having an ale house with no air conditioning in it? We rented the building. They wouldn't give us an air conditioner after 21 years being there. So, I can't believe this, my phone's going on, but I'll shut this off in front of you. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so I want you to.
That reminded me of the ice cream truck.
Yeah. I want you to know, I know how to balance a budget, and I know how to make a profit, or I know how to bring excess or revenue to this county. I actually just got done living this, okay? And when I retired, after we sold it, I embraced a good owner that I've seen here, so I'm endorsing him, Mr. Brad Sundin. And I love my brothers for what they did to that point. My dad and brothers never got in there. I took it to the toilet, but you guys voted me #1 because you liked what I did, okay? I plan on doing the same thing if you're allowing me to vote for me in this coming up election. I will show you fiscal responsibility. We're going to audit all these nonprofits that are getting these free loans. These guys got new cars, they got new houses, their kids out of college education, and then they go bankrupt. Don Couch and half the county council approved a $6.2 million, which is amortized to $9.4 million, nonprofit to embezzle that money and not file a report every 3 months on what they're doing with the money, but then yet no one called for their arrest or an investigation. So unfortunately, yet. And
investigations into our existing government are taking place.
Well, we'll see. I'll be on it for you. I promise you that.
Court cases have been filed against legal counsel for the county. Court cases are being filed against the mayor himself as an individual, against corporate counsel as an individual.
Right.
He
basically had a free attorney.
The existing county government is a house of cards that is crumbling, and we have a responsibility as a community to elect new leadership, and that is your kuleana. We've got a few minutes left, about 5 minutes left.
I guess I'm here. A lot of people know me on the street as Tiger Metcalfe. I volunteer and I give away I donate my time. I donate to assorted different charities. But when I donate that, I love to be hands-on, like the new church, or the church that's going down in McKenna there, with doing the pews and stuff like that. I'm so excited to see that because that's one of my favorite churches. But different things that go on around the county. My fetish is I'm so loyal to Kirk, Kolavi Island Restoration, and thank you from the county council and the people on this one. You funded it. Now we got a little sister out there that was basically beat up, blown up, and raped. We've ignored her. We have to take care of this little island. We've got Lanai on the right track, I think. Okay, we're gonna address a little issue with the Molokai, okay, and we're gonna start a little bit of love for this island that's been blown away, and because it's so beautiful and tranquil out there. I've been out there, part of Kirk, and Jamie Brotcher, one of my best friends, he runs the biology operations for his nonprofits out there with Kirk. So I want you to understand that I went out there, put solar energy out there. So if you come out there, you get a permit to go out there, you'll be in comfort of a nice air condition from all day from the solar panels we put up.
Oh, great.
The other things I really my fetishes are I really love the film festival. I put in 45 hours with Keith, the individual that takes care of that. I helped I was multitasking with garbage and stuff like that, but it was so fun. I also like the Classic Music Festival. Those are my fetishes, and I'm madly in love with Whale Day Parade and Whale Day operation in Kihei that we got going. And I hope to expand it more with love from the county council versus it being independent, because we like the independency, but I think it should have a little bit of funding for it now. We've reached that point where it's a beautiful little festival, and it starts at 10 o'clock, and we're done by 7 o'clock when it gets dark. Everything's cleaned up, and they can play baseball the next day or football. I also am really in love with one more thing, and that's the little football for Kiki's. Pop Warner football, whereas I'm about to write the check out to financing that, one of the teams there and all of them, and providing water and stuff during that. I love football, and I like to see the little kids, and I like to see them develop, because we all know they're going to end up going to Baldwin and one of the other big high schools here. We're going to see some heroes come out here, maybe some NFL guys or some good college athletes. So
we jumped over one issue, was the county governance and the county council's refusal to promote that initiative to the ballot in November. Where do you net out on that kind of change? Taking the authority of the mayor down some and giving hiring authority, especially to department heads, over to the county council.
Right. I have to tell you right now, I am in favor of that new system of going to a county manager. This will show priority in intelligence and in leadership that we've never possibly had, because of course we're going to groom and vet a good guy that's probably been paid $200,000-$300,000, maybe $600,000 the other year. We're going to bring him out here and probably pay him $200,000 or $150,000.
Well, salaries for everybody are a little bit less here.
Correct. And the thing is,
quality of life.
But I'm sure his wife and his kids that get to come with it will love the beautiful that he's an all-knowing, we hope, okay, right. And he can guide us a little bit better. We want someone that knows and has been through the process once before, and maybe was let go not for some bad reason, but just because the community changed. We want a good guy here that has a little bit of experience how to run it. There's a lot of people that are going to rift it, not going to like it. I'm also, I have to tell you, Sam, the thing that might display you or me is I would like a figurehead mayor. Okay, and he may be making what the county council person makes.
Sure. Somebody needs to be there for ribbon cuttings and officiating.
Right. It's kind of nice.
It's perfectly reasonable.
It's kind of nice to go to one of those surfing.
We just don't have to hire the mayor's friends to be department heads.
And it's quite a lot of them when there's an audit done on that. I mean, half of these guys are lucky if they can spell their name right and stuff like that. So I love everybody on the island, but I'm saying there's positions for people to work in such a way that you know what you're doing and you don't have to be trained on the job. Okay, there's some training that's got to be done, but you don't come in that guy that changes tires to running a department. Okay, that's shame on you.
As a director, those positions are directorships, and that director needs to be the most knowledgeable person in the room.
You got it, and we have to be willing to look outside the box. There's going to be a difference. We have Alan Kawa. He's here now. He's on the island. He's our mayor. We know it's about to be transitioned or some power to be taken away from probably to rein him in, or the next mayor if we don't get this process done now.
Well, it's
okay?
Done. They won't hear it. It's
I also wanted to bring up with Bruce and yourself and all the people with Shaka, I stand out for you. I put real sustainability by going out there and getting signatures. Okay, I can put together all the people I got involved in getting the signatures. Kelly King, Mr. DeLeon, can you? Don, what did you do? Nothing, okay? I know what you did. You sat at home and probably watched ping pong on TV on Saturday, okay? My point here is that I try to get out there and actually do it. I went to the Harley Davidson, the Veterans thing. I run around town. I want you to know that if I get elected, I'm going to be accessible to you. I want you to come at me, okay? Because I want you to vote for me, number one. But number two, I want to put things in perspective of how can I help you? How can I help Kihei? How can I help Malaya? But otherwise, Stacy Crivello out in Molokai. We got beautiful Miss Ellie Cochran in Lahaina here. Mr. Ricky in Lanai. I love you. I want to work with you. Okay, I'm not some just completely abandoned independent. I'm a new guy, independent, coming in on this thing as a Democrat. I've tried Republican. In Wisconsin, you got to be Republican. I'm telling you, I defected because I didn't like what's coming up in the future, but I've showed you that I'm a Democrat. I've penned the meetings. I'm reading all case law, all laws, all ordinances as a paralegal for you. Okay, I will be a spokesman and a force for you. I'm a tiger, and I want to be a new choice for your voice out there.
Okay, that's a clear request. Thank you, everyone. We've run out of time. Thanks for joining us on this segment of Maui Causes. We'll be back with some more interviews on this show and with others. We're bringing in some of the county council candidates, and maybe we'll get some of the state house candidates as well. I'm Sam Small, Jerry Metcalfe.
Bye, everybody. I appreciate your time, and I really
us.
appreciate this man here.
Yep.
Good man. I hope to align with the right people that want me elected in here, okay? Thank you.
Join us again. Aloha. This program is brought to you as a public service by Maui Causes. Maui Causes is a crowd-funded media production group that provides media production services to a variety of environmental and progressive causes here in Maui County. Visit us on the web at www.mauicauses.org.